Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of Sketchy Goichi. I got a question for you guys. Do you love to draw? Do you love to watch people who love to draw? Do you just love art in general? Bigger question, do you love J-Lo? Now who doesn't after the Super Bowl? So anyways, if you do, this particular episode is for you. It's in my series called Pop Culture Portraits, and I kind of break down my process to doing likenesses of celebrities, but you can apply this to any portrait that you would like to render. So, stay tuned and enjoy.
Sketchy Go Ichi.
All right then, here we go guys. I am going to dive right on into this pop culture portrait. If you notice on YouTube, I have a series or a sort of a folder full of images that I've created. These images are essentially done for fun. So they are not, to be attacked by the license holders of these these particular pop culture figures. There's no need to sue. I literally am just drawing characters that I like and characters in pop culture that I like. And it's just a fun way for me to sort of explore doing the drawings and for me to figure out ways to better enhance my technique. By technique, if you notice here, let me zoom in. Essentially, this is just basically, lack of a better way to describe it, just a pencil drawing. Obviously, it's done digitally, so it is decidedly not done in graphite on any kind of paper. But because I am using Procreate, this is the older version, but I highly recommend anyone who has not yet to download Procreate 5 on your iPads, and of course get your Apple Pencil and let it rip. Okay, and also to bring this up, since we're in the early stages of this particular video, I do have a series of instructional sort of tutorials on the app Procreate. You would think someone at Procreate pays me, but they do not yet. Those at Procreate, you're more than welcome to holler at your boy. But anyways, so Jennifer Lopez, I mentioned it in the intro, phenomenal presentation, phenomenal performance at this year's Super Bowl. So I could have posted this last week, but I was busy, or the week before when it actually happened. But I figured why not, better late than never. So what I wanted to get into is I've done a video, again, if you go through the previous pop culture icons or pop culture portraits, I've done videos specifically about hair. And I think what works the best on this one is probably the hair. Let me zoom out so you can see the full outfit. This is a takeoff to her outfit. I believe it was at the Grammys, very, very early on in her career. So this is probably early 2000s. I think she was still dating Puff at the time, P. Diddy at the time. And so she had this really dynamic dress that she wore at the that awards show. And so this is kind of my homage to that outfit. And I think what happens here, by the way, I am using the iPad Pro, very, very early version of it. And so when I rendered this this has got to be like 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago or so. And so stylistically, it's actually not too far off from how I render now. It's a big part of art in that if you do it enough, and you kind of find a style that you like, it tends to evolve and it tends to advance, particularly if you're willing to put the time in. And this is probably in my mid-level stage of kind of getting this sort of pencil drawing version of pop culture characters done. I was gradually sort of adding little tips and things, tricks finding my way into capturing the likenesses of these people, not characters, they're real humans, people, and figuring out ways to make their the composition fairly, not dynamic. I mean, obviously she's just standing, so it's not like her in action, but adding little, I do these little starbursts in the background, these little sort of light flashes, almost like not quite lens flares, but these sort of little sparkles in the background that kind of give it a little extra flavor. And that's, composition, that's just about where you position them. They're there just to enhance the drawing. They're not there to, hopefully not there to take anything away from the overall art. So anyways, I want to get into hair. There's a term, and I didn't coin it, I'm sure I have not invented this term, called directionality. It's probably in the dictionary, maybe even in the Urban Dictionary, or certainly in the art dictionary. But the reality is with hair and pretty much anything that you do that's organic, it has to have a flow, in an organic flow. So for me, because I render in contour line, I love to render in line art, there is a sort of, this flow is captured in two ways. One is directionality, which means the line follows a certain directional quality, or follows a path. If you notice in sections of the hair, you'll see that they almost all sort of go in a similar direction, particularly right just above her forehead, and it goes back into this area where obviously the hair is tucked. There's like a little sort of kind of a little valley, and then it stops, and then it picks up the direction to head back towards the back of the head. That's the flow that's created. And if it follows the sort of the shape of the head, it looks more natural. And I think I wanted to post this video in particular because I've noticed a lot of artists really struggle with hair and how to do the direction of hair and how to make it look natural, or at least look sort of organic, which is key. So it's direction. And then the other part of it is the line thickness, the line, the line weight. You've got to apply a certain thickness to areas that have the deepest shadow. Now I'll use this area along her cheek, as it connects to where her hair is, along that side of her head. And as you can see, there's a really deep, dark line that runs along that side of her face, her cheek, and then down towards her chin. That thickness of that line is what creates that separation. It gives you the impression that the hair is on the other side of her head. It almost creates a shadow without creating a shadow. And if you notice the directionality of the lines, they sort of taper. They start thick and then taper down to a point. And that's kind of how I'm able to sort of give you the impression, it's a trick of the eye, to that hair has volume, right? So that's really how you get that. And that sort of line weight, it persists throughout, or should I say the variance in the line weight persists throughout the entire piece. You'll see lines that are really, really thin and fine, that the ones that sort of radiate out of this little brooch thing that she had that kind of connected her dress there at her midsection. And then there are thicker lines, to represent the shadow there along her hand, from where her finger leading into the ring. And then even some little, there's some super, super fine lines that are sort of like, in her sort of torso section here, like where her abs would be, and right here in her neck. And this, there's definitely a super, super thin line in the face that represents where her nose is. Even that kind of represents the depth underneath her nose, the bottom part, between the lips and the nose itself. There's some areas there, and even a little fine one right around her eyes that sort of represents the curvature of where the eyes set into the socket. But here's one thing I also want to note too before we close this one out. When rendering female, particularly female people in general, female people, that sounds hilarious. Rendering, males versus female, there's sort of a softness that you want to naturally bring to the image. It's something, again, I think a lot of artists who struggle with portraits don't take into account when rendering male versus female characters. There's a softness in the line, and there's less, get this, less lines generally in a younger female's face. Even less lines if you're drawing children. So I know people struggle with that. People want to put the laugh lines because they see it in the photograph. They want to put the lines along the nostrils because they see it in a photograph. Guys, you do not have to have that stuff in there. As a matter of fact, if you can train yourself to see only the darkest shadows, the areas where the cheeks, see where she's smiling, you can see the sort of the laugh lines in there. You don't want to overemphasize those. In the eyes, you don't want to overemphasize, like there's a little line, if you can kind of see her on the eye that's in the center of the screen, there's a little eye line just underneath her eye. If I overemphasize that, it's going to look like a crazy wrinkle. And she was probably, in her 20s when this photograph was taken. By the way, this is, obviously I'm working from reference. That's another crucial element I probably should have led with. I should have started the whole video with, but work from reference if you want to capture really good pop culture people. I'm gonna stray away from characters in this case. All right, so let me close this down. So J-Lo, hair must have directionality. I've dealt with this in many videos, and I'll probably deal with it many more. Line weight, particularly if you're someone who is rendering in line art. You're going to want to be mindful of line weight. If everything shouldn't have this mono line, meaning the single line weight line, you should vary it. Thickest where the shadow is, and thinnest where you where the light source is. And then, last but not least, for when rendering male characters and female characters. Male characters, you can have a denser, more angular line. In female characters, probably the wise move would be to have more delicate lines. You can always go back in and add shadow or thicker lines where needed. All right? So anyways, pop culture icons, pop culture portraits done by your boy, Roger Andrews, illustrator, artist, graphic designer. Forgot to say that in the intro. I love saying that. Content creator, which is the biggest one I'm working on. By the way, guys, if you like these videos, please do click subscribe. Click the bell icon so that you receive notifications when new videos are uploaded. Also, leave a comment. I love to reply to the comments. I think it's really cool that you guys interact. And last but not least, follow me on socials. I mean, you can go to my website. It's sketchygoichi.net. I'm on Facebook, definitely on Instagram. You'll see me posting there quite frequently. But again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Peace. It's all about that J-Lo. It's Roger here, signing off. You know how I do it. Sketchy go Ichi. Live your moment. Happy sketching, y'all. Make sure y'all follow me online. Socials are all available to you at Sketchy Go Ichi. See ya.